The following is an excerpt from the book Experiences of Thought by Anthony Kahn, available now on Amazon.com and Kindle. Outside the box, many worlds entangled. Under hypnosis, it is possible that your hypnotist could grant you supernatural power. They could inform you that you have the power to levitate objects just by using your mind. Within your own mind, you indeed have that power, and Jedi-like, can levitate any object on a whim. But does your hypnotist see you levitate anything? Why is the real world so irritatingly rational as to not let us enjoy such power? That apple on the table, you can levitate it within your dreams, but it will cling stubbornly to the table in the waking world. If we are all merely thought and experience, why is such a feat unheard of, or at least unproven? If the apple is merely our thought, then why do we not wield absolute power over it? The thing is, it is not merely our thought. Take any object in the real world, and you can be certain that you can show it to another. That apple on the table is not just part of your universe. It is part of the other person's universe too. How in the name of logic can you hope to levitate it when it does not exist solely within your own realm, your own mind? By our own definition, the apple is part of the outside world, as we do not possess full sovereignty over it. But what about before we showed it to the other person, back when it was unknown to all but us? How come we couldn't levitate it then? But at that point, in our ever-rational waking mind, we had already decided that we couldn't. As nature suggests to us, such things are not credible. When we enter this life, we enter it surrounded by the outside world, a host of countless objects that are not merely our own thoughts, but the thoughts of others too. We cannot move any object in such a way as to violate the reasoning of another mind, past, present, or future. Well-respected standards have evolved, and we must conform, at least within the waking state that we call the real world. We quickly come to learn what is possible and what is impossible and model our own universe accordingly. But if, as we suggested in the last section, our universe of experience is actually a subset of a larger multiverse, then how does our own universe come about within it, and what role does it play? In section 2.5, we began to speak of the deterministic qualities of the universe. We noted that we ultimately do not get to decide who we are, and that free will exists only within the bounds of certain pre-mandated conditions. So then what decides us? We are ultimately a reflection of all that which exists outside of us. We are a necessary part of the greater universe or multiverse of experience, as we have defined it, in the metaphysical sense of the word, because we are its resolution. If the entire universe minus us exists on one side of a grand equation, then we must exist on the other side to satisfy it. There are many possible realizations of the greater universe, and just as proponents of the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics argue, for a particular realization to truly be possible, it has to exist in a real way. So what form does each realization take? Given that all things are ultimately experienced at the most fundamental level that we can ever know, it is reasonable to suppose that each realization of the greater universe is none other than a conscious being, and that the sum of conscious beings is the entirety of the greater universe. So then, if we are to assume this ultimate form for reality as we know it, then large parts of us are in fact shared. To borrow another term from quantum mechanics, it is as though every being is entangled with every other. You cannot describe one being in its entirety, nor equivalently the sum of its experiences, without also factoring every other being into the equation. That apple on the table is not definable solely in terms of your own thoughts, but rather must be formulated in terms of the thoughts of many. Solipsism does not cut it in the end. We are a great community of minds, and we come to share more and more with each other as our individual universes grow and overlap. The universe, the multiverse of experience, the real world, our reality, whatever you want to call it, they are all the same thing. They are the collective us. We are individual universes unto ourselves, the sum of our thoughts and experiences. All that exists is in turn the sum and overlap of these individual universes, all of us mixed together into one shareable realm.